This is Matthew Cratter from Bitcoin University, and today I wanted to talk about two Canadian stories that I think shine a lot of light on the Bitcoin and crypto industry. I'm calling this Binance Rekt, Bull Bitcoin Rising. So the first news is that Binance is going to be proactively withdrawing from Canada. They will no longer be offering their gambling services to Canadians, and they said we had high hopes for the rest of the Canadian blockchain industry. This is a tweet that Binance put out on May 12th, and they said, unfortunately, new guidance related to stablecoins and investor limits provided to crypto exchanges make the Canada market no longer tenable for Binance at this time. They said that they had tried to stay in Canada for sort of sentimental reasons because I guess CZ is technically a Canadian citizen, but they will be pulling out. And it turns out that one of the main reasons is because the CSA, the Canadian Securities Administrators, put out this new guidance in February prohibiting crypto asset trading platforms within the country from allowing customers to buy or deposit stablecoins like USDC or USDT without the CSA's prior approval. This seems to be the main reason that they're choosing to no longer do business in Canada. So this raises the question, why doesn't Binance go Bitcoin only and remain in Canada rather than withdrawing? Could it be that they actually care much less about spreading sound money like Bitcoin around the globe than actually monetizing degen shitcoin gambling? That's their real business model. Binance remains fully committed to dying shitcoins and dying fiat currency stablecoins, all of which are trending to zero against Bitcoin over long periods of time. I found this particularly interesting, their quote, that we had high hopes for the rest of the Canadian blockchain industry. This is one of those meaningless word soup phrases, blockchain industry. There's really no such thing. Blockchains, as we've talked about many times on this channel, are a pretty useless technology. In most cases, a centralized database will work better in almost all cases, unless you are combining blockchain with proof of work, as Satoshi did, with a difficulty adjustment, and if you have this sort of decentralization. The main use case for blockchains is to run sound neutral money, and there's only one real example of this, which is Bitcoin. So whenever you see blockchain industry, that is a bit of a euphemism for what's actually going on. Blockchain industry is really nothing more than unregistered securities masquerading as money and a temporary regulatory workaround whose days are coming to an end. These regulatory workarounds, being able to offer unregistered securities and just call them crypto, is quickly coming to an end, both in the US and in Canada and in Europe. So what did Bitcoin think of the decision as this was announced? Bitcoin immediately sold off and then came right back to where it was. TikTok, next block, but Bitcoin doesn't really care what Binance does. Now, there's the other part of the story is that while Binance is retreating, another native Canadian brokerage, Bitcoin-only company, Bull Bitcoin, is getting stronger. In the same week, they announced that they just launched a no KYC Bitcoin purchase with cash or debit. Obviously, you'd want to use this with cash. And what you do is you basically go to any Canadian post office, you bring a QR code, you don't have to provide any ID or anything like that. They scan the QR code, you give them cash, and then the funds are automatically added to your Bull Bitcoin account, and then you can buy Bitcoin and either have it sent to your hardware wallet on chain or somewhere via Lightning. So this is a really cool thing. It's a little bit of a workaround because Canada requires KYC for dollar amounts of $1,000 or above. And so they're able to, Bull Bitcoin's able to offer this workaround by making the amounts less than $1,000. As this blog post from Bull Bitcoin points out, this is now the fastest, most secure, and cheapest no KYC method to buy Bitcoin that Canada has ever seen. No ID, credit check, or bank account is required to buy Bitcoin. I'm not being paid, by the way, by Bull Bitcoin to do this, and I'm not a Canadian citizen, so I wouldn't even use this. But I think for Canadians, this is very exciting. You have to take into account the fee of 2%, which is a little higher than you would pay on a KYC exchange like Binance or Kraken or Coinbase, but what you're getting is much more private Bitcoin that hasn't been KYC'd. So I think it's definitely worth it. I'll link to this in the description notes below so you can read more about it. I'll also link to this tweet thread by Francis Pouliot, who is the founder of Bull Bitcoin. And in this part of the thread, he says, why do we offer this? Because we want to serve the unbanked or debanked. This is a stark contrast to Binance's approach, which really wants to just monetize degen gambling. Great migrant worker remittance, protect users from data leaks, no possible chargebacks, which is good for bull Bitcoin. It's really easy. It's the most requested feature from users, and it drives down the high fees of Bitcoin ATM. So when you're thinking about private Bitcoin, non-KYC Bitcoin, you have to compare it to its alternatives. 2% is very steep compared to buying this at buying your Bitcoin at Coinbase, for example. But when you take into account the privacy benefits, and especially comparing the fees to something like BISC or HODL, it probably makes a lot of sense for some people. And Francis is marketing this as an alternative to Bitcoin ATMs. These are still possible. If you use them in your country, I'll link to this in the description notes below, you can find a Bitcoin ATM near you. You just want to make sure that it doesn't require KYC, it doesn't require a driver's license or any form of ID. That sort of defeats the purpose. You want to just bring your fiat cash, actual cash. You don't want to use a debit card or anything that can be linked to you. You put the cash in and you can get Bitcoin sent to a Bitcoin address that you request. As part of this, I would definitely suggest, whether you're going to the Canadian post office to use Bull Bitcoin service or using a Bitcoin ATM, wear sunglasses, maybe wear a hat, and also wear a mask to cover the rest of your face. This has, for better or worse, been sort of normalized over the past few years, and I think privacy advocates can use this to their benefit. It used to be in the old days, if you're wearing a mask, it looked really weird. Now no one's going to think twice. And if you're trying to do non-KYC Bitcoin like this in person, whether the Canadian Post Office or a Bitcoin ATM in your country or state, it makes a lot of sense to cover up your face, especially if it's an ATM. Now, there are other ways to buy non-KYC Bitcoin. I don't talk about this for various reasons on YouTube, but I will mention them here. BISC, and you can Google these, BISC, RoboSats, HODL, and other options. If you don't live in Canada, you can either Google this and figure out how to do it yourself, but if you need a little bit more hand-holding, I do cover this in my paid Bitcoin course, where I have 5 lectures on how to buy Bitcoin anonymously, and I go into this in great detail, as well as all the privacy requirements and all the privacy best practices surrounding accumulating non-KYC, in other words, anonymous Bitcoin. And if you decide to do this, be sure to use the coupon code YT99 to get the best price. As part of this, you'll get access to the whole course, which currently is about 10 or 11 hours of advanced Bitcoin material, including coin joins, how to buy Bitcoin anonymously, as you said, how to, for example, how to create a multi-sig, a do-it-yourself, multi-vendor, multi-sig account, coin join, etc. As also, I'm working on some lectures on how to build your own hardware wallet as well. When you join this, you also get access to all of my trading courses, which I don't really focus on that much anymore, but there is some very good material here if you're into trading stocks, options, and futures. I'd recommend you just accumulate Bitcoin at this point, but these are sort of legacy courses that are included in your 30-day membership to what's still called Trader University here, but really is going to transition to Bitcoin University. So check out the paid material if you're interested in that. Otherwise, you can first exhaust all of my free YouTube videos. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that subscribe and like button. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.